everything that we do is a reflection of the society, is reflected back to the society. It's a reflection of the society coming from behind, and it reflects back into the society. Anything that we do in this world, any endeavor that we undertake on a daily basis is a reflection of the society.
That is true. So it's a mirror, sort of.
It's a two-pronged mirror. It's a mirror in front and mirror at the back. It's a mirror that carries what you do and passes it down for you to look at it again in the front and think, wow, okay, what will people say if I continue to do this? And I live my life as much as it's possible in a way that whatever it is that I do, the people that are connected to me will be able to sit back and think, I mean, he got here to wherever he is without having to do this, and that. So I can do it as well.
Thank you for that. Now, let's try to sort of understand one thing. Because you are dealing with the youth in most of the cases, because, okay, you're a coach, you are having this as one of the argument that you talk about all the time. What is the concern of the youth in terms of what they expect from the, let's call it the older generation, in terms of, okay, maybe they're supposed to show me this, they didn't tell me this. You know, if you don't tell me, there is no way I can know what you don't tell me. I cannot know. I'm always just imagine. So what is the preoccupation of the youth, if we were to put it like that?
The preoccupation of the youth, most of the youth, what we tell them to do is to listen and observe and discern. You can't expect people to tell you everything because, let's face it, this world, especially in this current climate, is a rat race. Everybody is running. You know, when I was in school, I was very restless. I attended Loyola College in Ibadan in Nigeria. And I remember there was I was a very restless kid. You know, I was always running one way or the other from or away from somebody. And I know there was a teacher, one of my teachers in those days, he would, once I dash into, sometimes I get chased by people who have offended, they just run after me and I run into a class room and find that he's already there teaching, and I just look lost. So he now looks at me and he looks at me and says, Adelakun, you are one special character. If you're not running after somebody, then the rest of the class will take it. Somebody will be running after him. And so I was a little bit like that. And that is what the world has turned into today. It is a rat race. We are running after something, or something is running for us, and we've got to keep moving. So we probably don't have the presence of mind to engage our youth in everything that they need to know, number one. Number two, how do you know what they need to know? It's about discerning. It's about youth also learning from a very young age to take responsibility. So if there's any message you want to pass across to a young teenager, somebody who's just coming up at 12, 13 years old, it is start from a young age to take responsibility for your surroundings. Ask questions. If you don't ask, you're not going to know. Don't put it down to the fact that, oh, this person's got to, that belongs to the school. This person's got to tell me. He did not tell me that I should watch out for cigarette smokers, so I've got to go smoke a cigarette. No, be discerning. Try to take responsibility for your surroundings. Ask questions. Speak. Find people to speak to. Make a friend. The only responsibility that we have, that probably some of the parents that we had in those days didn't give to us, was offer friendship, so that your door is always open for the youth to come and ask questions. You go sometimes, we know in our day, many years ago, when you can't go and sit down in front of daddy or mommy and ask a question without getting into trouble. Like, you know, a simple question. How dare you ask me that? Boom, boom, boom. And then they get heated. We've got to provide a listening ear and answer questions. The only responsibility that we have got is to encourage, provide an open door. Let them come, let them ask. And when they ask, no question is ridiculous. No question is stupid. No question is how dare you. Just answer it. Just answer it. It's not a problem. Answer it. When you've answered, I have a fantastic, absolutely fantastic relationship with my children. My daughter is very, very witty, very sarcastic, very funny, and she can come up with the weirdest of questions, especially when she was young. And she can come up with any question. I will answer those questions. When she's satisfied herself, I can now turn around and say, but wait, where did you get that from? Why does your mind think like this? And then we can joke about it. But the very first thing I owe to her is answer the question. So provide an open door for the youth. Let them know that you are there to support, to listen, and to answer their questions. There's no rule book. You can't pick up a book and say, hey, here's a book on how to be a good child. And then you start talking. There's no book that, if there's books that wrote it and they sell it in the bookstore, they're just trying to get your money because you're not going to find it in the real world. But the only book of learning that you can give your children, your youth, not just your own child, but people who look up to you. Out there's hundreds and thousands of people who can benefit from the wealth of your experience, is provide an open door for them to come and ask questions. It's knowledge, it's experience. It can never go wrong.
Yeah, you're touching a point that are really very interesting. Anyway, I don't want to expand on that because it's already rich on its own, and it's good to leave it the way it is there. Now, how do you use football to sort of influence children in building a kind of better society? Because now we look at football as a little round thing uh, among the people where they just run around it, but they're not running around it zigzagly. There are rules, they are playing, there is a game. Uh, I want to believe that there are reasons behind the rules of the game. That is why we play it. So help me understand the role of football in what we are trying to impact the people.
Now, listen, I've studied it very carefully and I've looked at the game of football. When I started, when I came back into England and I started working with the BBC and with Sky Sports and that, even when I was here, even talking to the BBC producers and stuff, I say to them that, I can go to Africa and go and get you an interview with George Weah. And they look at George Weah and they think, no, you can't. How can you? George Weah, he's such a big player. And I'm thinking, to myself, he's a human being, for goodness sake. He's just like you and me. I'll just go and talk to him and say, I need an interview with you. And they marveled at it. So I will go and I will come back with the interview. One thing I have found is that for many, many years, people see football players, football stars, the football industry as a completely different world. It's completely different from it's not on the realm of reality. Oh no, these people, because they earn so much money, they are prima donnas. In fact, they're demigods. Okay, maybe they are, but in reality, they're human beings. The game of football itself is founded on an objective. The objective is, as this thing says here, is to get the ball. There's going to be 22 players. It's a game of 22 players. 22 players, 11 on each side. One will wear one color, the other wears another. And then there's a common round object. That's the ball. The objective of the football is that you've got to kick that round thing, pass it between yourselves, and make sure you get it into the other net while at the same time preventing that same round ball from getting to the hands of the other team and getting into your own net. It's simple. It's an objective.